Hello and welcome to this short video on Ofqual qualification categories and what this means for teacher assessed grades. Just for clarity, teacher assessed grades are also commonly referred to as tags. Ofqual, the regulator of qualifications in England, have grouped qualifications into two broad categories, A and B. It is important to know which category a qualification is designated because it signifies whether it's in scope for a teacher assessed grade or not. Category B has two further categories of B1 and B2. In this video, we'll look at each category and then briefly outline our rationale and approach to what types of qualifications are in and out of scope for a teacher assessed grade. So, qualifications which cannot be awarded through a teacher assessed grade. Qualifications which cannot be awarded through a teacher assessed grade fall into Category A qualifications. Category A qualifications include most occupational, license to practice, professional and continuing professional development qualifications, and some other Ofqual regulated vocational and technical qualifications, or VTQs, which are not typically used to support progression. Examples include license to practice qualifications. So, for example, dental nursing, pharmacy, and paediatric first aid. It also includes professional or occupational qualifications assessing proficiency. So, for example, diploma in care, supporting teaching and learning, and management and hospitality. So let's look at the rationale for those qualifications not being in scope of alternative arrangements for tags. Category A qualifications are not possible to award safely, reliably, and validly if the key knowledge, skills, behaviours, and occupational skills have not been demonstrated and assessed. Category A qualifications are also not normally required for progression. It is therefore Ofqual's expectation that teacher assessed grades should not be used to award qualifications in this category. In terms of NCFE's awarding approach to qualifications in this category, adaptations continue under the provisions set out in the extended ERF. Unfortunately, learners that have experienced disruption and/or learning loss cannot be mitigated by any alternative arrangements or tags, as they are prescribed for in the in-scope qualifications category, and therefore they will need to follow the permitted adaptations to complete. Where this is not possible, it means these assessments may need to be delayed. Let's look then at qualifications which can be awarded through a teacher assessed grade. Category B refers to those qualifications where results are awarded when not all assessments have taken place. That is to say, they are in scope for alternative arrangements. These qualifications include vocational technical qualifications, or VTQs, and other generals, most like general qualifications. These qualifications are considered important for progression to further study or employment. In terms of our awarding approach to this category of qualifications, learners who need the alternative arrangements or tags can access them, but assessments can continue where possible or viable. Where assessments continue, adaptations introduced under the provisions in the extended ERF can continue. Category B qualifications have two subcategories, referred to as B1 and B2. So let's now look at what they are. So firstly, let's look at B1 qualifications and what key characteristics they share. B1 qualifications tend to follow an academic cycle as opposed to roll on, roll off. They are likely to be long and big qualifications delivered over 1 to 2 years and will have a high number of guided learning hours. These qualifications are generally taught in schools and colleges, and most are likely to be taught alongside and as an alternative to general qualifications. Some B1 qualifications may still include some assessment of occupational skills. B1 qualifications are primarily used to support progression to FE and HE. So examples of B1 qualifications may include performance table qualifications such as technical awards or fee certs and technical certificates at level 1 and level 2. Applied generals and tech levels at level 3 and other generals including diplomas and extended diplomas. Ofqual's expectation is that teacher assessed grades should be used to award qualifications that are primarily taught alongside or instead of GCSEs, AS and A levels, including vocational qualifications which are important for progression to further study or employment. Turning next to category B2 qualifications. B2 qualifications tend to share some key characteristics. Firstly, they tend not to follow the standard academic cycle and more likely to be roll on, roll off. They are likely to be smaller qualifications with lower guided learning hours compared to B1 qualifications. B2 qualifications will normally be assessed on demand, with learners sitting them when they are ready as opposed to a fixed point in time. B2 qualifications are also likely to be taught and assessed in other settings beyond just schools and colleges. This group does not include any assessment of occupational skills, but they may be assessing some element of proficiency. Finally, B2 qualifications are used to support progress to further study or employment. The most common examples of B2 qualifications include functional skills qualifications and smaller qualifications such as awards and certificates that are used to support progress to further study or employment. Qualifications that are not like GCSE or A levels in their structure, such as functional skills, skills for life, and smaller size qualifications will continue remotely. They can be awarded through a teacher assessed grade only where assessments cannot take place on public health grounds or remotely. We will not be accepting teacher assessed grades at qualification level. For NCFE qualifications that are in scope of the alternative awarding process, teacher assessed grades can be submitted at unit or component assessment level. Submitting teacher assessed grades at assessment or unit component level will enable our normal qualification aggregation to be used for the calculation of the overall qualification grade. It is important to note in all cases, teacher assessed grades can only be put forward when there is sufficient evidence upon which to base one. There will be more information and detailed guidance on tags on our website in the coming days and weeks. We have reviewed our portfolio of qualifications against the criteria which Ofqual has set out and produced a list of qualifications that will and will not be awarded through a teacher assessed grade. They can be checked by using our qualification checker tool at https://www.ncfe.org.uk/COVID-19 response for 2021. To summarise then, in line with Ofqual guidance, we have grouped our qualifications into three main categories, which we have set out on screen now. Category A, which assesses occupational skills and are out of scope for a tag. Assessment can continue and be adapted if needed. Where this is not possible, assessment may need to be delayed. Category B1 refers to those qualifications most like general qualifications. In this category, teaching, learning and internal assessment should continue, but external exams are cancelled. Tags will be submitted to NCFE by the centre using a range of sources of evidence. Finally, category B2. This refers to those qualifications that are unlike general qualifications. In this category, teaching, learning and internal assessment should continue. Functional skills and EDSQ external assessments should continue where possible and can be delivered in line with public health guidelines. Tags will be submitted to NCFE by a centre using a range of sources of evidence where eligible. Thank you for listening to this short video. We hope you found it helpful. Please keep visiting our website for regular updates.